everyone, it's Melissa with another craft activity for you. To me, nothing says summer like making friendship bracelets and lanyards. That's probably because as a kid, when I went to summer camp, that would always be one of the arts and crafts activities we did. Probably because the materials were so accessible and the patterns so easy to learn. So I thought I'd bring that to all of you today. And while people, when they first learn how to make friendship bracelets, usually learn traditional things like braiding or staircase patterns or stripes and that kind of thing, I thought I would look up and learn and teach different really easy patterns that maybe are a little less common. So for today, the materials are really easy. You're going to need something to make your friendship bracelets with, some kind of string or something. A lot of people like to use hemp cord or a thin yarn or embroidery floss. That's what I'll be using today, is embroidery floss. I like it because it comes in so many different colors. It's really easy to find, and I like working with it. I think it's really easy to work with. You're also going to need a pair of scissors to cut your materials, as well as I use tape, masking tape, to secure mine down to like a table, but you can also use things like a safety pin to attach it to like a pant leg or a pillow, or you can use a clipboard to hold the top of your friendship bracelet as you're working your way down. But once you have all of those things, you're actually really ready to get started. The first thing I want to talk about when starting off my bracelets is the length of the embroidery floss. Most patterns will tell you to cut a certain amount or to wrap it around your wrist a certain amount of time so you have the right length. Whenever I start a new pattern or I start learning a new pattern, I usually do, rule of thumb, 3 feet long. That is because I'd rather have too much rather than too little. So I have here a few strands that I've cut 3 feet long, and then what I usually do is fold them in half, line up the ends, and then to make the loop at the top for most of these patterns, what you're going to want to do is just take the even loop, wrap it around your finger, and then tuck the top of the loop through what you wrapped around and pull it. And you want your loop at the top. This is what's going to help secure it to your wrist, or if you're making a lanyard, secure it to what you're putting your lanyard on. You're going to want to make sure it's big enough that you can actually fit another end through it and then pull the knot tight. So once you start with that, you're ready to start pretty much any friendship bracelet pattern. There's one that I'll show you at the end that's a little bit different, and we'll go back to that later. So the first pattern I'm going to show you is a chevron pattern, and this is probably the most traditional one that I've picked out for today. And what I've done is I've started it so that you can see what it'll end up looking like, and I'll show you how to do a row. So the first thing you're going to want to do is secure it to your surface, and this particular one has 5 colors, and you're going to need, when you fold it, you need to separate out so one color is on each side, left and right. And what you'll do is take the outermost string and the second one in, make a 4 with your string, tuck it up and around, and pull it tight. So make the 4, tuck it up and around the second string, and pull it tight. And you're going to do that 2 times for each string on each side. So in this particular instance, I have a rainbow color, so I'm going to do this with the purple on red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, twice each. So once I've reached the middle with my purple string from the left, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the right with my purple string. The difference is, instead of making a 4 like I did on the left, I'm going to make a backwards 4 on the right. So take the purple string, which is the outside most string, make a backwards 4, and pull the tail of the purple around the red and tighten it up. And again, you're going to do that twice on each string. Alright, so I've gotten to the middle. My two purple strands have met. I'm going to move all of the other strands away. And I've got these two. So I'm going to take my right purple strand, make a backwards 4, pull the tail up and around, tighten the knot twice, and there you go. That's how you complete the row. And so what that's going to do is make this lovely arrow pattern that's called a chevron. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is called a fishtail. It makes this really thin, pretty arrow pattern, kind of similar to a chevron, except this one does not require any knots. It's kind of like a weird braid. So the first thing you're going to do is secure it. And for this one, I have here 8 strands total. There are 2 strands of each color on the left and 2 strands of each color on the right. And you can do this pattern with any even number of strands. So if you wanted to add in 6, 8, go up to 10, the sky's the limit really. As long as it's even so that the pattern is symmetrical, you can do whatever you want. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your string colors mirror each other. So in this case, I have 2 yellow strands on the outside on the right and 2 yellow strands on the outside on the left, 2 green strands on the inside on the left, and 2 green strands on the inside on the right. And this one, like I said, is very similar to a braid. What you do is you take the strand that is outermost on the left side, bring it over across the middle to the right side, and then do the same thing on the right side. Take the outermost on the right side, cross it over to the middle on the left side. And the way that mine is set up, I have 2 strands of each color, so it makes a slightly thicker stripe. And that's how you can play with the striping pattern on this one. And you just keep passing it back and forth, the outermost strand on each side, over, across, the middle to the other side. And that makes this lovely arrow pattern. So this last one that I'm going to show you is a little bit different from the first two. It's not one that you need to secure to a table. It actually, you make this little disc. What I did was I cut a small circle out of a cereal box. I then cut 8 slits in it and numbered them 1 through 8. And that's just for me to keep track of what slit I'm changing to where. If you don't want to do this after I explain how to do it, you don't have to. And then I poked a hole in the middle for my strand to go through. This is a little bit like a cross between weaving, knitting, and friendship bracelets because it does require you to keep track of what string is going into what slot. But I have here a string of 7 strands that are knotted at the top. There's no loop on this one, I just knotted it because A, I needed an odd number of strands, I needed 7, and B, this one is a little different in that you're going to actually feed the knot through the hole in the center of this to set it up. So like that, and get the knot right up close to the end. You're then going to take each of your 7 strands and put them in a slot. So I'm just going to go through and put this in 1 through 7. So I've put them, I put mine in rainbow color order, in slots 1 through 7. You can see 8 is empty. And so what I'm going to do is, starting with the empty one, I'm going to look for the strand that is 2, 3 away from it. So I want each strand that I move to jump over the 2 strands that follow it. So number 5, if you prefer to think of this in numbers, number 5 will go to number 8. Now number 5 is open, number 2 will go to number 5. Now that number 2 is open, you can skip 1 and 8 and move 7 over. And you just continue doing that, moving the numbers. And as you go, it will braid out this kind of neat half woven, half braided friendship bracelet. So let me do this a few times and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so you can see now that I've done some, it makes this really cool woven, almost braided rope bracelet. And you would keep going with that until it's as long as you would like it. You knot off the end, and then you can tie it like a regular bracelet. So those are the 3 patterns I have for you today. I love these because they are so portable and you can basically take them anywhere. In the car, outside, maybe you'll be sitting on the couch watching a movie at night and you want something to keep your hands busy, that kind of thing. They're just really fun for that. And they are totally shareable, or you can make them into lanyards or do whatever you'd like with them. So that's it for today, for today's craft video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!